Hello, authors, book lovers, and storytellers. Welcome to another Reader's Magnet featured author interview. And we are currently live in all our streaming platforms. That's YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. My name is Rob, and I am your host for today. And together with me right now is one of Reader's Magnet's featured authors. She has a degree in physics from the Ohio State University and a graduate study in engineering analysis, has a certificate in personal management from New York University, an engineering analyst for two Fortune 500 companies in aerospace industry. So you know that she knows what she's going to be talking about. And also the author of the up and coming book, Take Charge of Your Career. Please help me welcome Miss Marianne Chimera. Miss Marianne, how are you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing fine, and I'm glad to be here.
Well, thank you very much for joining us. So, Miss Marianne, we do know that your book is in the works right now, about to be published. So, how are you feeling about it, though? How's the process so far?
I'm really excited. I've been talking to some of the people who uh, are likely to be reading it, and they seem to be excited as well.
Awesome, awesome. Good to hear that. So, Marianne, as what we discussed with your book, though, it has an emphasis about careers. But what made you choose this title, though? Like the title, "Take Charge of a Career." Like, why choose that?
Well, I wrote resumes for people for a long time, and one of the things that happened more often than I expected was that people would come in and tell me their sad stories about their former jobs and how unhappy they were with them. And that struck me that by sitting in a job where you're unhappy with all the jobs out there, you've given charge of your career to somebody else. So it, there are ways that you can take charge of your career, and one of those is to get a new job. The
Okay.
book is primarily about the job search from beginning to end.
Hmm. So it's more of like talking about a process though. But Marianne, about your book though. So like, how can you tell this? Like, what's different about this book from other books about finding a job? Then.
I I have not made an exhaustive church search, but I have looked at other books, and most of them stop with the resume.
Hmm.
There's very little information out there about what you do with a resume
Hmm.
and how you look for a job after that. So the book goes from beginning to end. It also introduces a new uh, resume format and a cover letter format, a
Mm-hmm.
simple cover letter format. The new resume format is called the the high impact. It is
Hmm.
probably one of the first ones that we've seen in more than 100 years. A new form uh, of resume,
Mm-hmm.
new format for it, which has significant differences from the standard format.
Hmm. Okay. So what we're talking about right now is about having a new resume that's different. It might be standard format. So you talking about this new resume format and adding a standard format, like why do you think it makes it revolutionary for us to have that new things when it comes to job searching?
The standard format is very good
Mm-hmm.
at what it does, which is to talk about your past, where you've worked, what your
Mm-hmm.
education is, and things like that. What it does not do is to tell why you should be preferred over other people with similar backgrounds.
Hmm. Okay.
I have reorganized actually the standard resume. It's in a different order. It has a different emphasis. It
Mm-hmm.
has features that emphasize what you're looking for. And it
Mm-hmm.
is really not just a data sheet, but it's also actually a sales document. It's designed to encourage employers to consider how you will fill their opening.
Hmm. Oh, awesome. So, knowing with that though, like there is change though, you reorganize and putting a different emphasis on the resumes. And I do understand where it comes because again, you might be having 5 or 10 people applying for the same job, but having that same resume format. So I'm not sure if I'm getting this correct though, but the applying and reorganizing the standard format and trying to do this new thing is to make sure that you stand up from the rest. Am I correct about
That
this?
that's correct. One of the things that
Awesome.
my clients kept reporting back to me was how impressed employers were with their resumes because it
Mm,
looks different from the standard resume. It emphasizes what they want to know.
mm. Awesome. Awesome. Really like that. So, Marianne, one more thing though, because again, your book about taking charge of a career, we have these new formats, standard formats, we have our cover letters, but why why have a focus intently for this resume, and what needs to be discussed in a resume as well, and what is not supposed to be added on there, so at least some of our viewers can have a general idea on what they can do about their resume. So any insights you can share about that?
A lot of people misunderstand what a resume is for, and I have people give me their resumes, and some of them are don't contain any useful information.
Okay.
A resume is not a life history. It's not a work history. It's not a list of past employers. Its purpose is to talk to suggest to an employer that he has a place for you in his employment. And basically, that makes it a sales document.
Hmm. Okay, so so at least it has some value as well. So it's not just an employer reading a piece of paper talking about some having these talking points, but it's more of like, do you think that good resume is more of like putting your it's like a proposal and you are putting yourself out there as you being the product of that proposal? Is that correct? Or what do you
You
think?
got it directly
Awesome.
correct.
So, and on your also, I also noticed though that again we discussed about the, cover letters. Do you think people should really stick with cover letters though, or do they still have a significant importance in the industry?
They do have significant importance. You can certainly get a job without a, a cover letter, but a cover letter is basically a second opportunity to make your case for employment.
Okay,
And you're
and
making it directly to
mhm,
a particular uh, employer, different from a resume which goes out to everybody.
hmm, awesome. And does your book also discuss about cover letters as well?
It does. It does.
It
And it
does.
proposes a fairly simple format for them, which I have found effective. It has three parts.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and sure, and it is okay if you can share with our viewers though what these three parts are, if that'll be okay.
Well, it is
Mm-hmm.
making a connection.
Okay.
It's the body of the telling them why, what your particular, how you're going to meet their objectives,
Mm-hmm.
and then asking for an interview.
Oh.
A resume is successful if you get an interview. You may not get the job, but if you get the interview, you at least have an opportunity to make a case for a job, or to decide whether that job is for you or not.
Hmm. You know what? I love that insight though. It makes sense. Again, a successful resume landing you that interview means that your resume was really compelling and that the employer took the time to get in touch with you and set up that interview. Now it only boils down to what are you going to do next during the interview if you can sell yourself much more better. What do you think about that?
Yes, and also you
Hmm.
may not get that job because somebody else fits their requirements better,
Hmm.
and you may not take the job because it isn't for you. So
Okay. Okay. It's always a case to case basis. But as you said though, that there are some people might be fit for this. But with your book, Marianne, who do you think that this book is really intended for?
it's intended for everyone who's looking for a job.
Okay.
I
Well,
I give you numerous examples as I discuss the resume, how you fill it out, how you go about your job search. The examples are drawn from resumes that I did for clients with
mhm.
significant changes so that you can identify the person or the job that they had, the particular jobs that they had.
Awesome, awesome. So you know what? For all our viewers though, you might be asking, okay. So again, just want to introduce again. So this will be Miss Mary Ann Chimera, author of the book "Take Charge of Your Book," and this will soon be available on Amazon, Barnes and Noble, and also at Reader's Magnet website by the end of February. Okay, so always make sure to stay tuned. And again, by the way, Miss Mary Ann, I really appreciate your time though. Really had new insights about tackling my career, and hey, who knows? Once your book is out there, I'll get some samples so I can do something with my resume as well in the future. Okay.
Okay, I'm hoping that everyone will read Take Charge of Your Career.
Yes. Okay. So always make sure, and also, Miss Chimera will also be putting up a website in the following week. So always make sure to follow her live sessions at the Festival of Storytellers. And if ever you have any inquiries or questions, feel free to drop by. Okay. So Miss Chimera, thank you very much for your time. I really do appreciate it. And again, as we say here at Readers Magnet, we share stories with the world. Have a good one. Thank you.
Thank you. Glad you asked.